Well, hello everyone. Thank you for tuning in to my review of the Ahsoka trailer and maybe touch on a few other things. I got my man Jacob here, who's a huge Star Wars fan. I was originally really excited for Ahsoka, and I still am. But then Jacob kind of reminded me maybe we should pump our brakes a little bit because we've been fooled before in the past. And although it looks awesome, and I also remembered that I got fooled by a lot of things, the Obi-Wan series, the Book of Boba Fett, a lot of things. The Last Jedi is actually one of my favorite trailers of all time. And even though there's things in that movie I actually like about it, we know how that turned out. So, Jacob, good to have you on here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. There's a truck that's killing itself over here.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So how many times have you watched the trailer?
I've only seen it like 3 times at this
Three
point.
times? Yeah, that's about me. I think I saw it about 4.
I think if you've seen Rebels and seen all the extended material and know some of the stuff and know some of the characters, like I haven't seen Rebels all the way through, you're going to get interested a little more. But I have not seen Rebels, and so I have no idea who most of the characters are. But some people are like pointing them out. It's like, that's what's her face. And
I freaked out. I'm like, oh, there's Hera, there's Sabine Wren, there's so and so, and going like that, and then so I got excited, because of all that. I loved Rebels. I know you weren't a huge fan.
No, I think it took all the kid-friendly elements that I didn't like about the Clone Wars, and I love the Clone Wars, but it took all those elements and amplified it to a degree where it just took all the seriousness and drama out of the whole series. And I have seen the bits with Darth Maul, with Vader, and some of the cool, and Ahsoka. Like, those 3 characters in the show are awesome, and the fight between Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Vader, and Ahsoka, those are awesome moments, but I just don't like the show as overall. I hate the character of Ezra. I don't think he's a good character.
Really?
He's so annoying. He's so basic. He's such a basic child.
But the older episodes, the later episodes, when he gets older, he's, not as annoying and he's, starts getting a lot more powerful. But we didn't see him in the trailer, though.
No, but we did see Thrawn, which I believe he and Thrawn...
Yeah, they disappeared together in some kind of, other part of the galaxy or something. So that's who I believe Ahsoka's looking for.
Yeah.
Is Ezra. But Thrawn, yeah, I'm excited to see Thrawn.
Who they get to play him in this?
I want to say I honestly do not remember, but I heard that they got the one to play Ezra from the guy who played in Aladdin.
Yeah, he was a good fit. That makes a lot of sense.
Which would be good, yeah. So we'll see about that. But yeah, it was good. Now, at first, I was like, who is that dark side, person with the old man with the lightsaber? There's a name going around saying that his name is something. It starts with a B. I can't remember what it is. But at first I was thinking like, wow, because there was a little Easter egg jab where they said heir to the Empire. Remember Ahsoka says that? So I'm thinking like, is that Master Sabaoth from, that book, Heir to the Empire? He's kind of like a Jedi who went kind of mad after, and Luke kind of runs into him and I think starts training with them, but the guy is, definitely a bad guy. I don't know. I didn't never really read Heir to the Empire. I just know kind of the basic of the story. So I'm thinking that's got to be Master Sabaoth. But then Star Wars Theory was saying that from what he heard is that those are Jedis who are basically loyal to Thrawn and they're dark Jedis.
Yeah.
So, which would make sense. But it's I have faith in it. Dave Filoni's doing it. So,
is he writing and directing this?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And I know you're not caught up. You said with Mandalorian season 3.
No,
but there's been a lot of misses on this season.
I was not engaged in the first episode. The whole story that Mandalorian and Grogu were going on was put to an end in season 2. And so I was wondering, like, where do you go from there? Because that's the whole buildup that Mandalorian needed to bring Grogu to either his people or a Jedi, which ended up being Luke Skywalker. And then, okay, where are they going to go for there? And then they made the humongous mistake of uniting them in a completely different series, the Book of Boba Fett, where they didn't even really need to be. You could have had the Mandalorian there or Din there, but They didn't need to resolve a completely different storyline from a completely different season. So that screwed everything up, and I'm sure confused people because both of those two started together, which in the last season, if you didn't see the Book of Boba Fett, they were separated. So now they're back together. Like, what happened?
That happened actually at my work. The doctor who I work for, he is a big Star Wars fan, but he didn't see Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So he watched the first episode of this season of Mandalorian, and he tells me that, at work, he's like, I'm confused. I thought he went with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then I told him, you don't need to watch the Book of Boba Fett. Just watch these 2 episodes. Then he went and watched them. And we both kind of agreed, like, those should have been the first 2 episodes of the Mandalorian. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that would have made it, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 2 more episodes of Mandalorian. They have a chance to, if those are really good, then, I think the series overall will be decent. I think the problem with this season is it's missing Dave Filoni. If I remember correctly, Dave Filoni's not so much in this season because he was busy filming Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I look at Ahsoka, it feels like there's a different tone. But then again, I could be getting tricked with a Disney Star Wars trailer, which they're great at putting trailers together. But I think I have faith in Filoni. I mean, my opinion is I think everything should go through Filoni. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there's some terrible stuff with the last episode of Mandalorian.
I've seen Lizzo and Jack Black are in it for some reason, and again, I have not seen the actual episodes, but I did see a review on Star Wars Theory where he said George Lucas intentionally casted unknowns in the original Star Wars so you can get more invested in the story and not distracted by the big names. And that was I feel like that's a throughout for most of the Star Wars movies. Maybe minus Samuel L. Jackson in The Phantom Menace and the prequels, but other than that, mostly unknowns. But after that, they're just like you see their images in Star Wars, and it's distracting. It's really distracting.
Well, it's not only you have Jack Black in that Lizzo girl. I don't know who that is, but I'm old. But you have not even that. You have Christopher Lloyd in that episode.
He's in it?
Yeah, Christopher
What does he
Lloyd's
do?
in
I thought he was dead.
No. Yeah, I know. That's one of those actors that you're like, is he still alive?
Okay.
I mean, he was okay and decent, By the way, Lizzo, I guess she's a great singer. I'm not knocking
She's
her,
very talented.
And she seems really cool, but she can't act. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
I remember reading, I think I was on Twitter before I saw this episode, and someone said it felt like a bad SNL skit.
Oh.
And when I was watching it and they got to this, not spoiling it, like a dinner scene, it was almost like I was watching Alice in Wonderland where the Mad Hatter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Mad Hatter is, they're all at the table drinking tea and stuff. That's what it felt like. It felt like
it looked weird. It looked very weird. His Jack Black's beard, whatever's floating behind Lizzo, like that just looked like something out of a completely different sci-fi series instead of Star Wars. That doesn't feel like Star Wars at all. It's like people who started with the original trilogy, the style, the tone, and the grittiness of the original trilogy, and then they switched to the prequel trilogy. The prequel trilogy has a completely different tone and style, but it's also in a completely different era in Star Wars, so it still technically fits within Star Wars. This doesn't feel like Star Wars. I could say that for a lot of recent Star Wars material, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I think Mandalorian season 1 and 2 felt like Star Wars. I think there's certain episodes in this season that feel like Star Wars, and then there's some that do not feel like Star Wars.
Nah.
And going with just what Disney has done, I feel like The Force Awakens felt Star Wars,
Yeah,
Rogue One felt Star Warsy.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Jedi felt like that felt like an independent filmmaker's take on Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, it was trying to be its own thing. It wasn't trying to neatly fit into a series of films. It feels like it was like, this is its own thing, which was, again, one of the biggest mistakes of that movie. It tried to be its own thing instead of continue a story. So, but yeah, I feel like we're you want to go back to Ahsoka for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I've enjoyed dang it, who's the main actress again who plays Ahsoka? Rosario Dawson. I've enjoyed her take so far of Ahsoka, at least everything I've seen from her in the Book of Boba Fett, in The Mandalorian. I've liked her very much. I think she's a really good take for older Ahsoka, for a very different version of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I would like to see, like in the trailers, The only thing that makes me worried about her performance in that is it's very stoic all the way, and it doesn't really convey too much emotion outside of just being stoic. I'd like to see a little more emotion from her. So, other than that, that's pretty much all I like. She's got the moves down. She's definitely kicking butt. Like her opening scene in The Mandalorian is awesome. She is like murdering people left and right in the shadows. To Ahsoka turn into Batman. It's awesome. So I like her, and I'm excited to see what she does with this whole series. Yeah, what do you think?
So when she leaves, in Rebels, when she leaves at the end, she's not really a Jedi. She's kind of like at the end of Rebels, she's not, a Jedi, or at least, I don't know about the very end because there's a time jump. But, when she lands and you see her on the trailer, she's like, a lot has changed, because when she's in The Mandalorian, she makes it clear she is a Jedi.
Yeah.
And her lights, her lightsabers are still white. But, which I can be, Jedi. But
she says she is no Jedi in when she fights Darth Vader. Again, this is one of the few scenes I've seen in Rebels. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I am no Jedi, and she pulls out her lightsabers. So I think she makes that pretty clear that she's not necessarily a Jedi.
Yeah, no, because she was, kicked out of the Jedi, the Jedi Order, and then Anakin proved that she was, innocent, and they wanted her to come back, and she's like, no, forget it. Which I don't blame her.
Yeah, who would?
But
I mean, you have
like, screw you.
Yeah, you have an entire order that you've committed your life to, who just betrays you that quickly. Especially Mace Windu. Mace Windu was such a prick to her. He was I remember that one scene in the last few episodes of Clone Wars when he turns to her on a hologram and says, "I'm sorry, citizen." It's like, oh, that was prick move right there.
Yeah. What's with Mace? Huh? He's like a prick.
He's just angry, but
he doesn't like anything. Maybe it's because she was Anakin's apprentice before.
Yeah, he hates Anakin. He just hates it. Like anything to do with Anakin is like, I just hate you. I just don't like you at all.
Yeah. But I was hoping that for somehow Mace Windu was going to be alive and on the Obi-Wan series. And,
that'd be cool.
And Anakin got to kind of mow him down. But I've never been a big Mace Windu fan. I mean, his character's cool, and I think honestly where it goes to is because he's Samuel L. Jackson. I love Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
I love him, and other stuff. But it doesn't work for me in Star Wars when I'm expecting him to say something like, hand me my lightsaber. Which one is it? The one that says bad motherfreaker on it, like on Pulp Fiction, it's just, I'm tired of all these droids on the ship. No, or, I mean, it just throws me out of the whole thing,
Yeah.
But
I like him for what he is supposed to be. He is supposed to be he's the second most powerful Jedi, at least in the Clone Wars, next to Yoda. And he is pretty stoic, pretty up there when it comes to being a Jedi. So I wouldn't say he showed too much emotion, which is why he's a little different than what most of Samuel Jackson's characters are. But for what he is, I like him. I feel like we could get a little more into his character, but some of these characters are best left untouched, and I think that's been one of those things with Mace Windu.
It's true, yeah. But you've heard him say that he sure wants them to bring him back.
He does.
Which I can understand, you know. But
bring him back.
Yeah.
Bring Mace Windu back.
Just quick enough to get killed. So there's no more debate.
Yeah, have Darth Vader just cut him down, and that'd be great. Anakin Skywalker, before they should get in a fight, and before he kills Mace Windu, he should say, "Now you take a seat."
That would be awesome. Down. Cuts his feet off.
Cuts his feet off.
Or his legs. But
that
would be good.
That'd be awesome.
So last thing, I brought this up to you. I don't know if you had a chance to kind of look at it, but they announced like 3 different movies. There's only one I want to talk about. And one of the movies is that they are going to come out with Daisy Ridley's coming back to reprise her role as Rey, but it's just like a standalone film from what I understand. It's not like episode 10. It's 15 years later after Rise of Skywalker, and she is building the new Jedi Order. Now, we both agree that Rise of Skywalker is terrible. It's the worst Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Now, overall, I always liked Rey's character. I didn't like certain decisions they did with her. I think Daisy Ridley is a great actress. Um, so I've heard people say, why would they do this? And at first I was thinking too, like, why? Did you not learn your lesson? But then I thought about it, and then more I think about it, I get kind of excited because then I'm thinking like, this is their chance to get a really good script and kind of right their wrong
Mm-hmm.
of her character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can do the standalone film, and I don't know if he would be agree to it, but I don't know, if they somehow got Finn, and then Finn's been training all these years, and he's a powerful Jedi. You have Rey as a powerful
Yeah.
Jedi. Poe Dameron is doing whatever he's doing. Maybe he's teaching Top Gun Rogue Squadron.
He's being one hell of a pilot.
Yeah, one hell of a pilot. And you know, I mean, you really could do it good where there's like a threat out there, not necessarily Sith or anything, but maybe I mean, there's endless things they can do. But if I'm just thinking that like, wow, this is their chance to really do that, and it kind of makes me excited because
Mm.
Force Awakens came out, I got excited, like, okay,
Yeah.
The Last Jedi came out, and except for the arc of Luke and Canto Bight, it was there was some really good parts,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and then Rise of
Snoke was
Skywalker,
cool.
yeah, and then Rise of Skywalker was terrible, and so I feel like maybe this could kind of close it out in a sense, like you have Rise of Skywalker there, but like hey, let's close it out with this one,
Yeah.
and then that way people are a little more forgiving of Rise of
Mm-hmm.
Skywalker. But I don't know. Do you get excited at all hearing about this?
No, I don't really get excited for new Star Wars content anymore. I mean, I wish I did. I used to love Star Wars when the Force Awakens officially was announced. Everyone lost their mind. Every Star Wars fan lost their mind. New Star Wars, holy crap! And after that, it has just been a barrage of meh content. And I'm not hating on everything that Lucasfilm has produced. I love Rogue One. I think Andor is a great series. I even like the Force Awakens is a really good movie. Outside of the other two, but it has just been a kind of meh ride after that, and I've really been desensitized to Star Wars. That being said, if that is the case, there's a lot of things they could do with this story. They could inform characters Rey a little. Inform characters Rey? What? Inform Rey's character a little more. Yeah. Dyslexia, sorry. I don't think they characterized her very well in those movies. I was intrigued in the first one to see where it could go. I was bored by her in The Last Jedi, yeah, and The Rise of Skywalker. She was one of the only parts of the movie that I actually got into because I felt like she actually had real struggle in that movie. But even then, the ending was just so pathetic and boring and copy and paste from Return of the Jedi. I just didn't care. And I want to get excited because I feel like there is a way they could make this character great and interesting. But I also feel, from what you've told me, that feels like the same thing what Luke did. And it feels like copy and paste because the sequels were kind of a copy and paste of the original trilogy, and now we're just doing the same thing. After the original movies, Luke went off and trained the new Jedi. After the sequel movies, Rey came off and trained new Jedi. So there might be a different way where they could go about it, and I would love to see Finn because they butchered Finn. I would love to see more Finn. Finn's awesome, and he was the biggest waste in the original or in the sequel trilogy, and I would love to see more of him. And if he became a Jedi, maybe he trains with Rey, maybe Rey teaches him how to be a Jedi. That'd be sweet. I would love to see that.
And one thing that gets me kind of excited is you can have Rey. Remember at the end of Rise of Skywalker, you have all those Jedi talking to her.
Yeah.
So you can have her communicating with Anakin, with Obi-Wan, with Luke, even Kylo, because Kylo became one with the Force.
Yeah. So
you can have her,
That's true, yeah.
Have Kylo, and maybe Kylo gets, a weekend pass to come mortal, come as a human for like a weekend. Maybe the midichlorians give out a pass, and they could have Han.
It was like Will Turner coming back from the dead once every 10 years to bone his wife.
Yeah, maybe that's it. And he gets to come every 10 years, and then she gets pregnant, and then comes back. So,
And then she gives birth to the chosen one, and then there's a new set of movies that come after that because your mom was a miraculous Jedi and your father was a ghost.
Yeah. But hey, but there's a lot of little things that they could do
Yeah.
that would just make sense. Like, for instance, she should have. I want her to still have the yellow lightsaber, but it should be something new. It should, because the last one ended with her kind of made of her staff, and that's like an old staff.
Yeah.
So I would think it'd be kind of cool to see, like her having a new lightsaber. It's yellow, whatever it is. Finn, has one. Heck, if they wanted to get really bold, they could have Finn kind of, become very powerful and kind of turn to the dark side, and Rey's got to kind of lead him back.
I'd be okay. Or I feel like this would almost be better. Rey trains Finn for several years, and then she eventually gives in to the dark side entity that we saw in the Rise of Sky, or the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker. I haven't watched these movies in years. I've only gotten sick of them. The only one I've rewatched is The Force Awakens. Either way, that would be kind of cool to see if she turned to the dark side, because I feel like a really good story that they missed out on The Last Jedi was Rey turning to the dark side. That would have been interesting. Or she follows Kylo Ren. Like, that would be interesting. That's a cool story.
They should have done that.
Man, that would have been cool.
They should have done that and says, you know what? Let's do that. And then we're going to come back and do episode 10, 11, and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it has to do a big time jump with their kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wait, are we going with...
you have a Sith kid.
You have a Sith kid. Who's my dad? A ghost. Huh?
Yeah. No, but I mean, is like if they turn it where he didn't die and she joined the dark side,
Yeah.
Or she took Palpatine's place as the Sith Empress.
That would be sweet.
Like
they won't do that though, because that screws up their hero. Like, they need their hero.
Can you imagine all the little kids and the little girls who want to be Rey? And they go see that, like they would,
oh my gosh, that just
crush,
you know what that's going to do? That's going to create another entire generation of people who are going through the emo phase, who are just like, it's not a phase, Mom. I want to be like Rey Skywalker or Rey Palpatine, and take over the world.
Yeah, I don't. What's funny is I was when I saw someone talking about this yesterday. My wife and I were watching it, and they said the name Rey Skywalker. And my wife doesn't, she likes Star Wars, but not a huge fan. She's like, Rey Skywalker, and I had to remind her that Rey kind of took that name at the end of, like a stepkid at the end of,
Identity Theft.
Yeah. It's not a joke, Rey.
It's not a joke, Rey. You are Palpatine.
Rey Palpatine would be dope.
It would have been cool. It's like Rey Palpatine. Like, I think someone brought this up. Like, if she used Rey Palpatine, she could have, like, Palpatine was associated with being the Emperor and being like an evil human being, and she uses that name for a force of good. She could have done that. Instead, she just hijacked an already established name and just said, "This is mine now."
Oh, yeah.
For no real reason either. I don't know why I feel like the Force Ghosts were like looking at, when the Force Ghost looked at her at the very end and she says Skywalker. We never cut back. Well, we do cut back to the Ghost. I feel like the Ghosts were like, "Wait, what? What? You just stole our name. We're all dead, and you just stole our name."
Yeah, you'll just get the rights to Skywalker.
No, that's copyright. I'm suing you in a court of law.
That's messed up.
Oh, you can't do that. That's stupid.
Okay, real quick at the end here. What did you watch the Indiana Jones trailer?
Yeah.
You didn't. What'd you think? Because see, the other two teasers, you didn't get any type of like story details, and this one's still kind of wondering like, what does that dial do? I don't know. Can you like go back in time, or I don't know what that dial of destiny does.
Yeah,
but it looks good overall.
It's James Mangold.
It looks different, at first. Where he's retiring and this and that. So I like the fact it's a little different. I don't really want to get political, just to nitpick. I love the trailer. It's just, there was one thing that took me out of it. And I don't really want to get political. And I'm not going to try to drag you to get political. But there's one part where he's like, Indiana Jones is like, "You stole it from me," and she's like, "I stole it from you," or something back and forth, and she's like, "That's capitalism." And it's like what are they like in the 1940s, or they're like in the time of Hitler, or right after Hitler?
Yeah.
Nobody was trashing capitalism in America
It's modern day politics.
during right after, especially right after Hitler,
Yeah.
maybe in Britain or something. But
Yeah.
and it's fine. I don't know the context of that, but it's like, do you have to go there? Like when I go to the movies, like I don't want to see anything pro either side, but when you throw
hmm
those in the trailer, it's just like, just stop it,
Every time, like, it doesn't really matter what side of the political aisle, but if there's any like a forced message in any trailers, every single time, it's like that one guy at a party where everyone's having a really fun time, and it's the actually guy. He's like, actually, like, oh my gosh, you just ruined the mood. It's like, and as soon as you hear that in the trailer, it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. You just want to see Indiana Jones, and then you hear that, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, really? Like, just let me
shut
see
up.
this old man throw his back out and fighting these Nazis. Like, let's just do
Yeah.
that. Shut your mouth. I don't care. I don't care.
It's like on that SNL skit, the girl you wish you never had, the girl you wish you'd never striked up a conversation with at a party.
Yes.
Did you ever see that one?
I've never seen that one, but I've been in that
Yeah.
situation.
And it's this girl. She's like supposed to be real woke, and she's
Oh,
trying
boy.
to sound real intelligent in the skit. There's a couple of skits. It's
Yeah.
real funny. It's that Cecilia Strong girl, and she's just doesn't know what she's talking about.
Oh,
and she
my
tries
gosh.
to sound real woke and that, and it's just
Yeah.
so hilarious because it sounds so stupid, and it's just like, and that's the way I feel. I was watching also another one that kind of did it too. Is I was at the movies watching, the Mario movie, Super Mario movie today, and I love trailers. So the Blue Beetle trailer looks good from DC. It has the kid Miguel from Cobra Kai in it. It's a DC movie, Blue Beetle. Now I don't know.
I did see that.
I don't know who
He
Blue
was in
Beetle.
Cobra Kai, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I don't
Okay.
know who the Blue Beetle is. My friends probably do.
I
I'm
grew up
enjoying the
on Blue
trailer.
Beetle.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the trailer. It's fun, action. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know who this is, but I want to see this. And then all of a sudden, the Blue Beetle kid says something to his dad, who's played by George Lopez, who says,
Oh, really?
yeah, his dad's George Lopez, and then he says to his dad, he goes, "I'm kind of like Batman," or something. He says something along the lines of Batman.
Yeah.
And then, his dad's like, "Batman's a fascist." In the
What?
trailer. I know.
What?
I don't know. I don't know what that even has to do with, maybe everyone's fascist who's
Batman's a
rich,
fascist.
a fascist. And I'm like,
Ow.
I don't know. And I'm like, oh geez. But if you, not to get
Yeah.
into it, but if you listen to some of the things George Lopez has said lately, you can kind of understand why it doesn't make sense, because he doesn't make sense, but or he's just kind of an idiot. But which I love his old show, but it's just like, I'm just like, you can do without these little
You can.
things. It's just like, stop. It's like, and even if whatever side I'm on, like, I don't want to see a movie where it's pushing pro Trump or pro the other side or anything. I just want to be. Now George Lucas was kind of smart. He mentioned, and he said that he got inspired by Revenge of the Sith, the Emperor being that by George Bush and the Afghanistan War, or
Yeah.
this and that. But he didn't do it where it's like forceful. I mean, you
No,
can maybe
not
look
at
at
all.
it, but he did it in a way where it's just part of the movie and it's
Yeah.
true to that.
It's a difference between taking inspiration from something. Like, if you don't like a personal political figure and you make that a part of your movie, but you implement it into the world that you created. George Lucas made the Emperor a character in the world that he created, and he made it flow naturally. There's a very big difference between that and being forcefully political and having lines like that in the trailer where everyone in the movie theater is like, come on, just let's watch the movie. Let's not see this. I don't go to the movies to be reminded of politics. I go to the movies to have fun. That's why Top Gun was successful. That's why Avatar was successful. That's why John Wick is successful. That's why all of these movies who don't promote the political. Like, I'm getting a little bit on a tangent. Politics are success, and again, I don't want to be reminded of anything. I don't care if it agrees with me or not. I just want to go see a movie, and if it's Indiana Jones, I want to go see an old man end up killing himself because he stepped on a stone incorrectly, broke his foot, fell down 2 feet, and died, and didn't get his life alert. I don't know why they're doing a movie.
Let me escape reality for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then it will be there when I get back, and then I'll get reminded by going on Twitter or whatever and see.
We're just stepping outside.
Seeing,
some guy going
12-year-old teenage kids thinking that they're hip, wearing Nirvana shirts when they have no idea who Nirvana is or Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm. You saw, just because you saw Guardians of the Galaxy once does not mean you know what this music is.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone, I swear, when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, all of the music that was popular in that movie with a person who grew up in that time period, everyone started listening to that music. They're like, I love this song. And it's like, if you didn't watch that movie, you would not love this song.
You know what's funny is some of those songs, though, I mean, I've heard them. They were a little before my time, some of them. I mean, I was born in the 70s, but I didn't listen to 70s music.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I'm an 80s person. And I've heard some of those songs. Now, Guardians made me appreciate them better because I was like, okay, I can, listening to it in a movie setting in a certain context, makes me kind of like, okay, now when I hear the movie, I think of Guardians. But I'm not going to sit and act like I'm some 70s, like guru when it comes to movies. But I mean, music.
I mean, you grew up in I'm not calling you old or anything, but you definitely grew up in that kind of time period. I didn't. I liked the music. I grew up with the music because my dad showed me the music, but I definitely didn't know how that music felt when that came out. Like, again, like I just got finished watching Remember the Titans. Rock On. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
And that, like, all of the songs in those movies are great. They're great songs.
Okay, but Na 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 Na, Hey 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 Goodbye or whatever on Titans is my favorite song on that.
Oh, it's awesome.
Remember that?
But they got context to it because at the very end, like, hey, 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 goodbye. And now when I think of that I think of Remember the Titans. Yeah. And like, oh, now I'm sad.
But I've always loved that song. But even Remember Titans, it does that. And I love the part where Sunshine comes in because,
sunshine.
Sunshine, sunshine. And he comes in because Rev gets hurt. And then, he tells, the big guy, like, Louis, like, let him in, and he flips him over, and then they start playing na 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 na, and like, it's pretty badass. And then, like you're saying, at the end, it takes a different kind of tone where they're singing that at Gary's funeral. But isn't it kind of crazy watching Remember the Titans, and you see Hayden Panettiere as such a little girl?
Who is she again?
She's Coach Yokes' daughter. The little girl on Remember the Titans. Remember how he's got a little girl who loves football and comes there.
I don't know. Who is she now?
She is, well, did you see the last Scream?
Nope.
Did you see Scream 4?
I don't care about I've only seen the first one.
Oh, okay. She's been on a bunch of movies. She was on Scream 4. She was in the last Scream movie.
I didn't know she had a career outside of that.
She married one of the Klitschko brothers, the boxer, heavyweight.
Oh, yeah, cool.
She was on, I don't know if this counts, but she was on like one of the Bring It On movies. Like only Bring It On 1 is good.
Yeah.
But you know how they had a whole bunch of spinoffs they had for her. If you look it up, you'll see her and you'll recognize her.
That's cool.
She made it, but it's just kind of funny seeing her so little there.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone outside of Denzel Washington who had I didn't see anybody else in movies, but I do remember like the humongous obese guy in that movie. He's like super ripped now. He's scary ripped.
Yes.
He's like he went from like, I don't know, a basketball to
I read that he lost
to this guy. I would never mess with this guy. He is so jacked.
I wouldn't even know it was him, but unless I saw the pictures. But I read that he lost 250 pounds.
Man,
and
insane.
And then I saw a picture with him off, and you can tell he had like the excess skin kind of removed because you don't lose that much without having that excess.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of that.
Oh, man, that's amazing though. But he was on that show Earl or something like. My Name is Earl or something.
I've never seen that one.
He played Harry Knowles on Fanboys, which was really good.
He did. I liked that. That was funny.
Yeah,
I will say a complete last thing on Remember the Titans. I will say my favorite, and I still use this quote nowadays, is the moment quote when Denzel Washington says to all the kids when they're done fighting, right before they all don't get along or whatever, and he tells them, "It's like if you drop a pass, you run a mile. If you miss a block, you run a mile. If you drop my ball, then I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile."
You're killing me, Petey.
It's the greatest. I love that. I love that movie so much.
Well, I coached my son's soccer team when he was real young.
Really?
And I did actually steal from Remember the Titans. I told the kids, I says, this is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship.
I am the law.
And I am the law. And then I kind of laughed after because, I want the kids to know that was like the first practice of one of my teams. But I did.
That's awesome.
We're not equal.
I am better than you.
Yeah.
Or at least I am higher authority. Do what I say.
So, yes. But, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, bro. And you'll have to come again.
Yeah.
And we'll see here how Mandalorian lands. You need to catch up.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't even watch all of Book of Boba Fett. I just started when Cad Bane came on and just watched the rest of those because I didn't care. Like as soon as they said Cad Bane, it's like I'm watching.
This is almost becoming not even the Mandalorian, the Din Djarin show. It's almost becoming the Bo-Katan.
Because their story ended in season 2. You had no story to continue with.
Have you seen where you see the Mythosaur?
Mythosaur?
I just said that like Cindy Brady.
Mythosaur? I saw the ending of episode 2. I think that's where I stopped, and I saw that there was an eye or something, and there's supposed to be a giant Mythosaur, which is the...
You didn't see when he goes to the actual water and gets sucked down? He has to go to the water on Mandalore and to become a Mandalorian again because he took off his helmet. He has to like bathe in the waters of Mandalore.
Yeah, when he gets pulled down, Bo-Katan goes to get him, and then there's just an eye. And you're like, oh. Yeah,
that's the Mythosaur.
Mythosaur.
Yeah. I'm saying that totally terrible.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, that's where that's going. I'm sure that Bo-Katan's going to go tame that animal or whatever.
Yeah.
And come back and rule. Never mind. I want to just... the whole dark saber thing took a bad turn this last one too, but you'll see.
I just don't want. I don't have to see. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
He basically just hands it over to her.
I heard. That's such a because I thought they were at least gonna fight. I thought she was gonna fight him, and then she says like, "No, I was taken down by General Grievous Part 2, and because of that, he beat me." That doesn't even make sense. He would be the king of Mandalore? Yeah. That's so stupid. And then Bo-Katan kills that thing.
He beat me and she beat him.
It doesn't. It's so stupid. Like, really? Would that thing genuinely be the king? Would the Mandalorians have to go down to General Grievous Part 2 and just take a kneel to him? Like, what the heck is even that?
What was that thing anyway?
I don't know. It looked like General Grievous. It looked like one of those things that is alive, but it's got like cybernetic parts on live tissue or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was kind of cool.
But they announced that they're ending The Mandalorian in an actual movie. That it's going to end in a movie.
What's the story even going to be, though?
I don't know. That the Din Djarin Grogu saga is going to end, and they're making a movie.
Yeah, this is my biggest issue with
there is going to be a season 4. Supposedly, season 4 is already written.
All right, whatever. My biggest problem with The Mandalorian is the main story was over. Even then, the structure of the episodes was not story-based. It was like, go here, do a thing, go here, do a thing, go here, do a thing. But even then, there was still a main threat. There was still an understanding of the mission. But that's gone now. And now it seems to be, from what I've been hearing, because I haven't seen all the episodes, it feels aimless. It doesn't feel like there's a point.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And you barely have learned what the whole premise of this show is. And there's only 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
So, but all right, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
And so, just real quick, if anyone can, do you have a channel, kind of a podcast going out? So tell everyone where they can find you at.
Yeah. I have a podcast called the Couch Gambit Podcast. Me and a bunch of losers talk issues, stuff, and things that we want. So the Couch Cannon podcast, subscribe to that. And then I have a YouTube channel, production company, Skymore Productions. Check out our latest short film, Ground Zero. It's got like 2,000 plus views right now. So yeah,
I'm in it.
and he's in it. Yeah,
But,
he does this.
Yeah. So, all righty. And actually, I'll put those links down below in the description.
Thank you.
So, all right, man.
Cool.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.